to another episode of The Man Space, where my co host Marquise and I create a safe place and a space for men to explore conversations, feelings, and journeys that need to be explored in a way that is meaningful and supported. And today, as we wrap around our kickoff of 2026 for the January season, we want to talk about reinvention and why reinvention in this season is important. We're living in an age where everything around us is getting disrupted and changing. And the reinvention season is actually calling us. Every man is being beckoned to take that walk. And how each of the men are going to take that walk is going to shape not just their lives, the life of their family, and then the life of their society. Because when men decide to evolve and when men decide to reinvent themselves, it disrupts the historic dynamics and creates a new dynamic in the family. And it's going to take in a masculine led world that we live in, whether we like it or not. It's going to require that evolution and the reinvention from man for our families and our societies to move forward. I know, Marquise, you have a lot of thoughts around this, so why don't you just jump in and share what's on your mind?
Thanks, Doc. So the first thing I want to share is that nature reinvents. Our body naturally heals and repairs itself at very specific cycles. If you're ever curious about that, just Google it. You'll see the liver in a certain amount of days, the skin in another set of days. We become so numb to not knowing who we are and, unquote, fulfilling roles given to us by society, which, by the way, we are society, meaning if we want to change it, we have the power to do so. But by fulfilling societal norms, we've been completely against nature. And we've lowered our ability to evolve because we're not even conscious that it's available. But as I started, nature does, so shall we. With that in mind, the notion that who you are, we all like to say we have a growth mindset. But if you don't regularly change that and or evolve that, or if that only exists around your bank account, then you don't have a growth mindset. And that's part of what's been limiting you. One of my mentors, his name was Roosevelt Hunter. He had traveled over 46 countries, traveled the world, team camps, men's leadership, business execs coaching. One of the things he always taught me, you must always reinvent yourself. Reinvent your marriage, reinvent your business, reinvent you, because the cycles of life will always come. And it's only when we fight against it that it's a problem.
I love that. I absolutely love that because sometimes men seem to think that if I don't keep the status quo and if I don't live the same way my father, my grandfather, the father before that has done things, I'm somehow being a rebellion. But that's not the case. It's
No,
nature's rule that everything evolves. And if men don't reinvent themselves, then they're not just not helping themselves. And by thinking that they're rebelling, they're actually not serving themselves. It's actually a responsibility. Every man needs to reinvent so that his family and his community can keep moving forward. Because the fact of the matter is, if we don't evolve, we devolve. And anything that doesn't evolve becomes extinct.
you're exactly
And
right,
so
Doc.
the thing to keep in mind as I am looking at this is while it may be scary and it may require you to break down what you know, you break down, you rebuild, and you reinvent. And it is just like the way a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. Every
Yeah.
generation, the next generation is the caterpillar, and the next boy who becomes a man has to become a butterfly. And if we don't keep that moving forward and upwards, we're not helping the human society. What are your thoughts on that, Marquise?
You have interjected some of the most beautiful analogies that nature gives us. Number one, to your point, not only do we not evolve, we create a bottleneck. We devolve our family because it's not just us as the individual. Number
Mhm.
two, the caterpillar butterfly. I learned about the story through a friend about the caterpillar, that when it's in the metamorphosis stage, the caterpillar cells are running wild and rampant, eating itself, and any new butterfly cells also gets eaten. There's something interesting about the butterfly cells. They surrender. They surrender because they know eventually the caterpillar will consume itself. And at the point it's stopped consuming, then the butterfly cells can expand. Dr. Kaz, everything you're talking about is a reflection of what my life has been like. You said sometimes it's fearful. Heck yeah, it's fearful, Doc. It's frightening. It's terrifying to think, what if I fail? What if I let everyone down? What if I can't pay all the bills? All of those things that define manhood have to be retuned, restripped, reinvented. I remember when I got laid off in 2015 from corporate America with an IT background, very good at what I do. The joke before I got laid off, a year or two, I had coworkers saying to me, this is what's going to lead to what we talk about a little bit later. They would come to me and say, why are you still working here? You know you have other skills and talents. And I was kind of like, who are you talking to me? Leave me alone. And what I surrendered and said was, I like to check. I'm comfortable. That was nature's way of saying, you don't belong here. And it was my way of saying, I'm not confident I know how to go a different route. I'm comfortable, which is where I know many men find themselves being comfortable. But nature has a way of saying, no, sorry, it's not going to work that way because it's after the benefit of all of mankind. And I understand, like right now, we're facing a lot of challenges in the West. It's actually healthy for us. It's healthy in the context that we have to evolve. We can no longer just live this flat line meaning dead,
Mhm.
existence thinking, well, if I do this, this works. Because that doesn't reflect God. That doesn't reflect nature's evolution. That reflects our comfort and laziness that we find ourselves in, or protection. Because sometimes it's not trying to be lazy, we're just afraid. But nature's calling us to advance, calling us to expand. And Doc, the last 10 years, now 11 years of my life have been a part of this growth process. And there were
Mhm.
days I didn't know what I was going to do. There were days I had to look in the mirror and say, what are you doing? I remember one day in particular, Doc, I was in the mirror like, what are you doing? Come on. And I was far more aggressive than what are you doing? And I got in the shower about 15, 20 minutes in the shower. And the universe, God reminded me of other times I evolved. And all I could do was laugh, like, oh my God. So I know for many men right now, Doc, they find themselves and they're not sure what's going on. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with my son about this yesterday. There are three basic key points I'd like to share because you may be experiencing this, wondering what's happening. My suggestion to you might be that it's time for you to evolve. And evolving may look like everything in that world dies up like the caterpillar does. But there's nothing more beautiful than the butterfly flying, taking its wings, and doing its thing. So here we go. Oh, one more thing about the butterfly. If we think about the monarch butterfly, the caterpillar itself, it can only go maybe a few hundred feet a day, maybe. But the monarch butterflies fly the entire world collectively. So the part that it's calling you to is absolutely, you can trust bigger than. But here are three ways that you might find life is trying to happen. Number one, the friction in your comfort zone. You might have a nagging feeling of restlessness and boredom and an irritation like you need something more. That's probably an indicator that life's trying to get you to awaken from what you do on a day to day to something greater. And I believe that many of us already know what those things are. Doc, in your experience, when you've had clients that were in that friction of their comfort zone, what are some of the things or ways you help them see the opportunity that was there that they didn't
Mhm.
comprehend?
So some of the conversations we have is some of them feel like, is this a midlife crisis?
Yes, that's a good
Okay?
one.
Because that's the first thing men go to. Am I having a midlife crisis? Am I overreacting? And so some of the questions I ask is ask yourself three questions.
Mhm.
Are the things that used to satisfy you and excite you, is it suffocating you right now? If it's
Mm,
suffocating you, it's telling you something.
that's good.
All the advice and the conversations around you that beckoned you, does the silence seem more powerful to you?
Mm,
Okay. And the third thing is things that excited you, all the applause, all the praise, do they sound hollow and you feel like you're missing alignment?
mm.
So when you take that introspective journey and ask those questions of yourself, then you start realizing and you will find your own truth because it's not a midlife crisis. It is your truth bursting to come out so that you can reinvent and become the you were intended to become because you were never born to be the same from cradle to grave.
This is good stuff, Doc. And that's number one. Oh, that's good. Thank you for the reminder. All right, so I'm going to call you on all of these. This is really good. Okay, number two, another indicator in your life that may be time for you to evolve is the uninvited storm. You know, when everything all of a sudden just goes haywire and you weren't really doing anything at all. The uninvited storm I've experienced many times because nature was trying to get me to wake up and crave more, conquer more, share more, all that's in my growth. Because again, as we talked about earlier, it's not just for me, it's for those that are in my space. I'm not solely responsible, but I have a responsibility in the process. And as men, we have a responsibility. Dr. Kas alluded to that earlier. For society to evolve, men are a critical part. And some of that might be the awareness that by yourself, you're not enough and you need other people. So that uninvited storm, the layoff like I had, the heartbreak like I've experienced, whatever that is for you, that uninvited storm where I did everything right. Oh, by the way, just quick caveat, men, stop saying that. Stop protecting. I did everything right and she left me. She did. Okay, and we cannot cry about things changing. It's nature working in our experience to help us evolve.
Yeah.
Don't throw away your strength because you had no control over the change. The change is designed to expand you. That's your opportunity not to say, I can't believe this, but rather, now it's time. What's next on the frontier? Because that is how we are bred. That is part of what nature's trying to do so that we can expand our leadership. That doesn't discount it being heartbreaking or frustrating or disappointing. Feel those things. Those are very real. But
And I would
everything,
also urge us to look at the other side of that conversation.
yeah,
And if we are taking that same example, I did everything right, she left me. What if
yeah,
she's sitting there saying, I did everything to support him and make him the man he is, and he never noticed me? He took me for granted. And the only way for me to stay
yeah,
whole is to protect myself and walk away.
yeah.
Because
Sometimes,
there's more than two sides to a story, right?
always,
Always
always,
more than two sides to a story.
yeah.
And what I would remind all of us is it's not the storms that break us. Our
Mm,
choice not to stand in the storm and work through the storm and
mm,
evolve.
mm,
Because,
yeah.
yes, storms break us,
Mhm.
but we have to go through the storm. Take the butterfly example. When the caterpillar is becoming a butterfly, it
Yeah.
has to break through the cocoon. If
Yeah.
anybody helps it, the butterfly comes out with the wings not being able to be spread and not being able to fly because it has zero resilience. And
That's right.
therefore, it is being born practically dead.
That's correct.
That
That's correct.
resistance and that suffering and that resilience is necessary to burst out with,
Yeah.
to enter the life force with the force and the passion.
Yeah.
And so things that happen in life,
Hmm.
they're teaching us patience, they're
Yeah.
teaching us grace, they're teaching us acceptance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if I can work through that, and instead of saying, oh, why did they downsize me, or why did she leave me,
Yeah.
what could I do differently? And
Mhm.
can I go fix this, or how can I build this even better?
Yeah.
Human
Yeah.
relationships, if it's not a job, it's not over. If we are willing to meet the other person, listen to
Yeah.
them, and see their experience from their perspective, and
Yeah.
accept our role in creating that. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter whether I was right or wrong.
Yeah.
If I made the other person feel that way, then I need to be willing to take that responsibility,
Yeah. It's good,
right?
Doc. It's good.
And
Yeah.
that way there's healing. And even if the relationship doesn't survive, the bitterness doesn't have to come in.
Yeah. It's good. Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you for that. I love it. What an opportunity to evolve because the caterpillar has to die for the butterfly to live. And we forget the butterfly has so much more opportunity and contribution. The third thing for this episode is the unforgettable whisper, that recurring pull inside of you, whether that's to write the book, start the business, create the opportunity, whatever that is inside of you, that signal, that's that curiosity that's burning within you, that dream that won't go away. If you spend all of your existence seeking security, you can never discover who you were meant to be in the first place.
Yeah.
Because nature is anything but secure. It evolves, it's expanding. And it is secure in a way that we're unfamiliar with. It's secure that it's going to evolve and that the evolution of it all is good for everything in it. That's uncomfortable for us. But many of us, not all of us, you might get to be one who slides under the radar. Many of us, that beg, that call is going to stick with us. It's going to remain. If you don't answer it, no amount of escapism, and you know what I'm talking about for your life, is going to help you. It's because you are not fulfilling what's inside your spirit. You can numb it, but it's not going to suffice. You'll constantly numb and have new problems, new expenses, because you didn't take the time to go within and do the work. And yeah, it can be uncomfortable, but the consequence is worse of not pursuing it. So I'm cheering for you. Go get it. Go get it. Stop ignoring. Don't pretend it's not there. Stop pushing it aside. All the what ifs of you trying to protect your limitation won't even help you. I'll leave my last words with a quote from Dr. Miles Monroe. Many of you have heard it before. Where is the richest place on earth? The graveyard. Because so many dreams and passions were never fulfilled. People went to the grave having not done so. What are your thoughts, Doc, on this episode?
That is very true. A lot of times, not only are people afraid to take that chance, they're concerned about betraying the people who've been in their lives so long
Mm,
that when they reinvent themselves, some people are going to get left behind.
yeah,
But life doesn't have to be an either or choice.
it's good.
If you understand that you were uniquely created for a purpose by
Mhm.
your creator, and you evolve to fulfill that promise because your life is a gift,
Yeah.
then you keep track of where you came from and honor where you came from. And you can still evolve and reinvent yourself and become the version of you your maker intended. You don't have to choose either or. To me, either or is a false dichotomy the colonial masters gave us.
Yeah.
I come from an ancient culture of continuum. There's no right or wrong, there's no black or white, there is no good or bad. Everything is just is. And when everything is just is and every soul is experiencing its journey, then what the soul has to decide is what resonates for me and what's serving me to live my purpose and what is not serving me and taking me away from the path my soul was intended to take by my creator. And all of a sudden, our mindset and our heart set is thinking differently. And therefore, it's not an either or, black or white, good or bad, hurt or help kind of a situation, but we are doing the right thing for the right reason. And to me, that is a mission critical element to keep track of and not forget ever.
The way you said that's so clear. There's nothing to add, but trust it. Trust what she just offered. It's very different from what we've grown up with, but it's never been more true. Like it is clarity personified because evolution is inevitable.
And as we wrap this up, I would like for you to keep one nugget of wisdom in mind. Charcoal and diamonds are the same carbon. The only difference is charcoal under pressure becomes a diamond. Do you want to remain a hunk of coal or do you want to shine with the God given gifts and let your power be unleashed? That becomes your choice. And that choice, that singular choice, should propel you towards continually reinventing yourself because your future diamond is calling you and you better.